Hey everybody, it's Brian Eisenhower, and I'm really excited. I've got not only longtime coaching clients with me today, but they're real good friends of mine too. I'm bringing the Mojo today, and I have got the Mojo team themselves. This is Max Jones and Zach Morton. Welcome, fellas. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us. Yep, good to be here.
Man, this is going to be cool. This is going to be really exciting because what you guys do is just a lifelong dream of mine. After 35 years in the business, second half of those 35 years had the internet involved. I have had this dream that you guys have finally achieved. And what's really neat is what you guys have done in building your YouTube channel and what you've done, even though you've been in video and on YouTube for a very long time. You've actually already done this in about 2.5 years since you built this channel out. And I love to let everybody see what you've done to generate so much business from YouTube in such a short period of time. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about your real estate team just to give some fundamentals here. These guys are partners in a team. How many agents do you have, an admin and stuff like that, just so they can know that?
Yeah, we have 15 agents and four admin staff. Two of those are VAs and two are in-house.
Okay, great. And what are you guys on track from a sales production standpoint? Even though it's a low sales volume year, what are you guys on track to? How many transactions are you about to sell this year, you think?
Like three and a quarter. Yeah, 325, 350, depending on how things go.
Fair enough. Yeah, and that's a low sales volume year, historically off to the worst start in US national history. But you guys are still growing and pumping, and a lot of it's because of this YouTube channel. And it's not just growing your business and helping you generate a bunch of real estate leads. It's also now attracting agents at a high level too, because it's fun energy. And I want you guys to talk about that. Can I ask you too, where your average price is at too? Where's your guys' average price, you think?
Kansas City's close to 350, but we're above that. We're probably 425, something like that.
And from what I gather, this YouTube channel is actually helping increase that because you're getting higher price leads.
Yeah, totally. I would say on average, our YouTube leads are 600 to a million.
That's a big jump.
A
So,
lot of them are relocating to Kansas City. They've all got good jobs that'll pay to transfer you. So they've got perks, great credit. They're just awesome buyers. A lot of them are even cash half the time. Yeah, they're coming from the coasts and they're selling more expensive real estate and they feel like kings moving here. And so that's 2 to 3 times our median price point will be the YouTube buyer.
I love it. That's just phenomenal. Okay, so why don't you guys tell me what you've tried to build and what you've built with this YouTube channel? I want you to sell me on it. Why should I tell other agents that they should do this? Just not in your area, of course.
The first thing is just to leverage your time. In real estate, we keep trying to get levered up so we have more time to do stuff. And this allows you to make one video and then it just sits there at 1 o'clock in the morning and gets views and grows. And this thing just builds on itself. And over time, you just hit some trajectory and start going up. Yeah, that is the number one thing is you can work today and then it continues to work for you in the background. So just some stats, Zach and we've spent probably in the 2.5 years that we've been building the channel, that's 30 months. We've spent probably about 960 hours. So that's about 4 hours per week for each of us. And if you look at our statistics on our channel, we have 14,246 watch hours. So it's essentially 14 times our return on invested time. So our return on investment from a time perspective is better than our money, the amount of dollars invested. That's catching up too. But the biggest thing is the time.
Yeah, I think that is like a don't try this at home, kids, because it does take a lot of time. And you guys do have a robust team with four admin support members, right? And we've got to outsource some stuff too, like video editing and things like that. So trying to do this all yourself, what we're going to show you, it's going to take a lot of your time. Now, if you want to stay up all night and work like a banshee, okay. But this is quite a bit. I worry that it'll take away from your other activities that generate business too.
Burn out really fast. In fact, we knew another agent that was really successful out of the gate with this, but then just hit burnout because you just can't edit that many videos that often. And he just threw in the towel and quit after he spent all that. This is something you want to build and you just want it to keep growing because it can get really big.
Absolutely. Video editing is one of the most tedious things on the planet. I have a lot of experience in that department as well, too, for a very long time. And in a sense, what you guys are doing is what I've done over the course of building my business. A lot of people out there that want to grow their business, they do it solely on social media alone. And the problem with that is it's great. You can generate a lot of business there, but it doesn't live. There's no history. So, you put it out there on social media and all of a sudden it goes away. So you have to just keep doing it forever and ever. And it's kind of like prospecting. If you just prospect for business and you don't build a sphere of influence behind it, you'll never get any repeat business or business that just comes to you. You'll never get the come list me phone calls out of the blue. So you're always having to go out, chase and hunt and kill everything you're going to eat. So you never store anything up for the winter. That's enough. That's enough metaphors. However, when you actually build things on YouTube, now all of a sudden it stays there forever. And your other videos, as long as we're very consistent with our production out there, it does start to really grow some history. And in this day and age, people searching on search engines like Google, that's one thing. But now we've got AI searches out there. So people on Chat GPT are asking, who are the best agents in Kansas City? Who is this? And all of a sudden, where do you think Chat GPT is getting their information from? They're getting it from Google, right? So to stay ahead on AI, which is the future, it's pulling information from the internet. Guess where it's not pulling information? Your last social media post. So it lives forever and it keeps snowballing on top of it. You guys were talking about it like you've got in 2.5 years. What was the stat you told me? You told it to me 2 days ago. You told me you had 203,000 views. And that
Yeah,
was 2 days ago. And then you just told me we're up to 207.
2077, so almost 208. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got 5,000 views in the last day, and not because of any awesome video you created in the last 2 days.
Yeah, we
It,
haven't created anything in the last 2 days.
yeah.
Yeah, all 300 videos that we've created. We have a bunch of more shorts too, but long form videos, I think we have 300 or so maybe. All of them are getting views every day. And so it's nice. We can, when we go on vacation, we're still working in the background. So that's been a focus for Zach and I in the past couple of years, is to work on the business instead of in it more. And this one way enables us to do that.
Yeah. And I think that one point that Zach was mentioning to me before too about why the consistency is important. Why don't you lay that out there?
Yeah, so everybody's made a YouTube video, right? And post it and you get a few likes or whatever, and then you just quit and because it's, I didn't get 1 million views, so I'm done. But YouTube is an algorithm and you've got to feed the beast. And YouTube wants to see consistency, whether it's one video every week or two videos every week or one video a month. You've got to come up with a routine and stick to that forever, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, don't stop. Yeah, that's
Don't
yeah.
stop.
Keep feeding the machine. Keep putting coal in the engine. More metaphors.
Hopefully, I'll be able to replace myself with an AI bot at some point.
Yeah.
But we're still going to have to keep making videos. I will say that as we've gotten better at this and hired new people to fill in roles, we're no longer spending 4 hours a week each on this. I'd say now at the most, maybe 2 hours. We keep shaving our time down each week for YouTube stuff.
Okay, I'll tell you what, as you guys are telling me about the different types of videos you do, because you have a system for that, right? You have different categories. I'll show them, I'll share my screen and kind of show them what your channel looks like, which you should all subscribe to. If you want to follow the model, this is the model that's working. We're going to tell you what it's generating later, but why don't you explain your rhythm?
What's cool about YouTube too is everything we ever did from our first video is out there. So you can literally go back and watch us trip and stumble and look stupid. And then you just keep doing it. It's perfect because nobody watches your first few videos. So you get all that out of the way and you just kind of grow into it. It's all there for anybody to check out. Yeah. But for the types of videos we do, what we started doing was neighborhood or suburb tours. So there's 3 types of videos we would do there, and we would try and do one for every suburb in Kansas City, starting off with the ones that had the most search traffic. And we would do an in-person tour of the neighborhood and a couple of houses. And then we would do a pros and cons talking heads video. And then we would do a map video where we would record our screen and show the viewer everything in the area that would be important to them if they're moving to that suburb. So they could essentially anything they wanted to know about that Liberty, for example,
They could watch the map video, look at it from that perspective. They could actually be in a few homes and see what it looks like in person. And then we could talk about the pros and the cons, the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah, and I love what you've done here is because you've taken a concept that's been around for a while, but you've actually really created a hyper local nature here. If you look at all the titles, all the descriptions, everything about these videos, like he just mentioned Liberty, that's a little city, like a suburb of Kansas City, right? So in the title, it's Liberty neighborhoods or the pros and cons of living in Liberty or Liberty schools. And all of a sudden, if I'm out of town and I'm looking to relocate, which they've got this marketed as a relocation site, right? They're marketing to everyone, and every town should have this because people move into every town. It's just the way that it works, right? And what are the three most important things in real estate? The three L's: location. I can look at houses all day long on Zillow and Realtor.com and all those things, but what I don't know is the locations. That's the one thing I need. And they're providing that. I can actually learn about Liberty. I can learn about North Kansas City. I can learn about all the different names of all the different suburbs and boroughs and things like that when I go on there and look. And all of a sudden, I become very thankful to the Mojo team. You know what I mean? It's absolutely phenomenal. And they're doing that. They're talking about all the pros and cons. They're being honest. They're being legitimate. They're talking about the benefits of the whole town. They're ranking things, stuff like that. And they're covering every neighborhood. So when I search for homes in Liberty, all of a sudden, who are you competing with? You know what I mean? There aren't many people that are that hyper local. If I search for homes, you're just going to compete against Zillow and Realtor.com. You know what I mean? That's it. And then the only real estate agents that are telling you anything are you guys. But if I search for homes in Kansas City, now I got to compete with every real estate brokerage. I got to compete with tons of people. It's very hard to show up there. And quite frankly, people don't search with that little short tail because they know they want to get hyper local too. So they create a long tail search where they type in different neighborhood names. Now that's where you guys start popping up everywhere on Google, is because you've gotten very specific because you're identifying different hyper local neighborhoods in so many of your posts. And so your leads just spread out all over the place. And I absolutely love how you have a system with the neighborhoods. You do in-person tours, map tours, pros and cons of each different neighborhood. And you just do it for every single neighborhood. And you try to make those neighborhoods as small as possible, those cities as small as possible, because you weed out all the other search competition for it, which is freaking it's just done like a pro. So I really love that. With that being said, tell me a little bit about the leads, how it's generated the leads. Tell me about the leads. Tell me about what that's done. Because one of the hardest things we do is when we grow a real estate team is oftentimes we need to provide leads to our agents. Tell us what that's done for you and what the leads are like.
I got one really good story. We had a new gal that joined our team. She's an amazing agent, by the way, but her first day on the team, she picks up the team line and it's $1 million YouTube listing lead, and she goes out and takes it. First day.
I love this job.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, you can imagine when agents start telling all their other agent friends, like the community, like the cool stuff like that happens. It kind of makes you a magnet.
Yeah. Usually a lead will reach out to us and we don't actually work the lead. We don't show houses, Zach and I. We do take some listings. We're trying to do less and less of that, but they'll reach out to us. So we're 50-50 on these with our agents, but the lead will come in and we may set up a Zoom call and be on the Zoom call and make sure that they know, hey, we're working together. But it's great. The lead that comes in, they treat us like we're famous. It's actually better than a circle of influence lead because it's so teed up. They've built a relationship with us for months before they've ever reached out. So they know all about us. It's like they've been watching us on reality TV, and that's how they treat you. Like you can see their eyes light up when they see you, and it's amazing. So it is the warmest lead you can have. But yeah, we're able to give these leads that are 2 to 3 times the median sales price in the area to our agents, and we have a matching standard on our team. We don't expect them to just convert YouTube leads all day. They're required to generate their own business. But when they do, we reward them with these type of leads and match their production. So it's really enabled us to recruit by attraction because an agent will come and they'll tell this story like, oh my God, the first day on the job, I got a $1.2 million listing in Smithville. She'll tell other agents that. And then they're coming knocking on our door and asking us what we're doing and how they can be a part of it.
Yeah, it's been amazing how much that you guys have grown lately and how all of a sudden you're getting producing agents that actually sell quite a bit themselves coming to your team. And that's how teams go from small teams to big teams. It really is. They suddenly realize, oh, wait a minute. Now, once a few producing agents make the public decision to join your team, it almost gives everybody else permission to, too. You know what I mean? And that's how your YouTube channels work slowly, then suddenly, because you've had a relatively small team for over a decade. And now all of a sudden, boom, we get top producers in and more top producers. It doesn't feel like I'm downgrading to go to this team because there's other people that generate plenty of business themselves that are also joining as well too. And I think YouTube's the same way. It's slowly then suddenly, right? You don't get a lot of views, you don't get a lot of views, you don't get a lot of views. Then all of a sudden it starts to snowball really fast. And that's what's happened to you guys. And your team growth followed right with it, which is neat. How many agents have you just added in the last, 3 months? I don't know. I don't know when that growth came, but it's pretty
Yeah.
recent.
8,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, we've doubled our agent count from 7 to 15.
And these are high quality agents. These are either new agents that have very large databases, that are very talented, or they have already been producing and have quite a few years of experience, some of them decades of experience in the business.
15 to 30 on their own are the people we're attracting right now. And
15 to
so
30 transactions a year on their own. That's amazing.
really been good. But that is true. Like the first year that we had our channel, we didn't attract any agents. And I think we might have got two leads.
We
or
did. We
2 or
got
3.
one like I remember out of the gate pretty quick, and we're like, oh, and then it was just dry spell, and then
Yeah.
it started popping one a month and one a week kind of thing. But I will say something too. Going back to the leads real quick, is what's really nice about a YouTube lead is you don't get them like 6 months out and then have to drip on them and work on them.
Oh, yeah.
You've already
YouTube,
been doing it.
you've already been doing it, so they call you when you're 30 days out, ready to, or they're like, hey, I'm coming in town next week to buy a house.
You're my
it's-
guy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah, I already
sweet.
love you. And I think that's one thing you did say. It's better than a sphere of influence lead, like better than a lead from someone you know already. And I want to explain why that is. Sometimes geographic farmers will feel this as well too. They're basically calling you guys because they respect you so much. They don't owe it to you socially. It's a unilateral relationship. Like they see you and you've earned their respect. So it's 100% out of respect. Whereas oftentimes with social relationships, they're feeling obligated to use you, right? Even though sphere of influence leads are great, don't get me wrong, because they already trust you, they don't necessarily respect your decision. But when they see this continuous effort and evidence that you're the experts, on the neighborhood and real estate sales in Kansas City, they don't argue your price, what you recommend on offers, any type of advice you're giving. You just don't have nearly the amount of objections to overcome because they're coming to you from purely a respect place. So believe it or not, it's the highest quality lead, because understand this is probably the highest form of geographic farming. People think of farming as just sending out mailers and stuff, right? Which is true 30 years ago. But nowadays, we're trying to build that online ecosystem, and nothing does it like this. You can do it on social media and those things are great, but this envelops everything. This involves the entire interwebs. It's everything. So this is what creates the entire stratosphere around all of your farms. And you guys are effectively farming every single neighborhood in one of the nation's largest metros, which is absolutely awesome.
Just to add too, they trust us enough from YouTube that they go work with our buyers agents, and we get no pushback from that. So they don't even expect to work with us.
That's true, because you don't have that personal relationship where they're socially obligated.
It's, hey, if you put us with this guy, we trust you, Zach.
Yep. Yep. These are our local experts. Absolutely. We can't all be everywhere all the time, but here's my number. You can always call me with anything. It's simple as that. One thing I do want to stress here, because there's a big lesson in this, guys. A lot of people, especially in the small team stratosphere, they look at admin support differently than you guys, right? They just look at, hey, I've got a transaction coordinator. Oftentimes they just pay them by file or something like that. Or maybe they pay them on salary too. And they basically handle from listing to contract and contract to close. And that's admin to them. They don't have any type of marketing director. You see, that's the difference between big teams and small teams. It's a way they add so much value to their agents. They don't have a marketing person. It's so crucial if you're finally trying to grow. We have to keep investing in our business always, like you've done with your YouTube channel, and what all teams that are looking to grow is have a dedicated person, because that's an actual person that will be seen as dedicating to your agents to help grow their business.
That's actually, we came to that conclusion because of advice that you gave us. Because you said, hey, Max, Zach, you need to overload them until the wheels come off and they crack and they can't handle anymore and they're dropping the ball. Then you get another one. So
Yep.
that's always been our mentality, is just throw every chore and job and thing at them as you can with all the lower dollar per hour activities. And so that's how we ended up with 4. And
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll need more.
Yeah, the return on that is unbelievable, because now you should get a good return off your listing to close and contract to close person, but they're designed for customer service. So that's business we already have, right? Now we've actually got an admin that generates business for you. That's your marketing director. So that should be the easiest one to hire. Yet it's the one I see hired the least. Getting that position or positions in place is absolutely crucial. And it's one of the things I see missing on most big teams, and they have a hard time generating enough business to stay in front of their agent's business. It's a constant. You guys are mastering it. This is absolutely phenomenal. You guys have created a model basically for all real estate agents to follow here. I couldn't tell you how to do it any better than you've done. So I am honored to know you, honored to be friends with you and get to have worked with you for so long. And man, these guys got the mojo, and they got the coolest team name. They got the coolest team name on the planet. So Max and Zach, thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Brian.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for coaching us.
You bet. All right, guys. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.